All right, let's get started. Good morning. So today we're going to focus more on our stretching since last time we did our stance work. Just a pointer and just carry this on to your own individual practice. Typically, when we do our stance work, you want to stretch after. So let's say I could repeat last class and we had a little bit more time. We would do exactly the same way, the Qigong, then the exercise, Qigong, then the exercise. And by the end, we should stretch because all that tension in the muscles needs to be stretched out. You don't want to be tight. So in this class, we're going to stretch, but at home, when you practice, make sure that if you wanted to, you can do the Qigong, the stance work, and then stretch after, or you can just go through the Qigong and the stances completely and then stretch after you do the whole thing. That much is up to you. So get started, feet together. Right fist, left palm, show courtesy. And we're going to do our standing meditation. And hold the hands on the right below the belly button and try to feel your breath pushing your stomach forward and back as you exhale. Keep in mind when you do your standing meditation, your eyes are not closed. They're squinted, not squinted in an intense way, but just relaxed, almost like you're pretending you're going to sleep. And we're going to move on to our Qigong. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. Out. Next one, squat down low. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. and in. And out. The closing, breathe in and out. And shake it out. And it seems like somebody else has their mic on. If you could mute it just so that nobody else gets distracted, that'd be great. Thank you. All right. Next stretch. Up. Down. Stretch it up. Down. Right side. Switch. Switch. And switch. Neck rotations. Other direction. And we're going to move on to the waving hands. La Sa. Remember, breathing in as you go up, breathing out as you go back through the nose. Go high. And shake it out. And we're going to go in and out, keeping the hands relaxed, breathing in, breathing out, going out. And shoulder rotations forward. Other way. Hands up. Clench the fist. Wrist rotations in. Other way. And slap the kidneys. Chest. Center. Hip rotations. Other direction. And shake it out. Keep the feet separated. Grab the ball waist turning. Keep your eyes focused on the imaginary ball. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Other direction. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. Last one. Breathe in. And out. Shake it out. Feet together. Knee rotation. Other way. Separate the feet. Knee rotations inside circles. Outside circles. And ankle rotations. Right side, inside circles. outside, switch legs, inside circles, outside. Shake it out and slap the left side. Switch. Legs. Lower back. Stomach washing. Top of the head. Warm up the hands. Massage the face, forehead. Eyes. Nose. Mouth. Neck. Thyroid. Kidneys. And shake it out. Moving on to the 8 brocades Qigong. Number 1, holding up the sky. Remember as we breathe to try to stay in a meditative state and to keep the tip of your tongue placed on the roof of your mouth. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Last one, in. And out. Number 2, pulling the bow and shooting the arrow. Remember to keep the eyes focused on the finger as it travels and focus on something in between the fingers as you reach full extension. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Last one, breathe in. Out. The closing, breathe in. And out. Shake it out. Now we stretch. Separate the feet a little bit. Grab your ankles and try and stretch down. This same exact thing can be done seated if you don't want to do it standing. Right side. Try to get your head down as close to your knee as possible. Remember to keep your legs straight, not bent. Switch.
And back to the middle. And just try to kind of let yourself hang here for a few seconds. I always found that that kind of helps to kind of alleviate some of the tension in my lower back. And shake it out.
On to the next one. Number 3, pressing up and down for the stomach and the spleen. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And closing, breathe in. And out. Number 4, looking back. Remember to open the eyes wide as you look back and relax them as you come forward. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. Shake it out. Now we stretch our hips and our knees. Grab the right foot and pull it up. If you want to do this seated on a chair, that's fine. You want to try and get your heel to your belly button. It helps to keep your eyes focused on something that's not moving. Switch. Now we stretch our quads, grab your foot, and pull it back. If you need to use the wall to support yourself on this one, that's perfectly fine. But I do recommend you try it without too much support. Just keep your hand close by just in case. Switch. Shake it out. All right, next one. Number 5, wagging the tail for the heart and the pericardium. Remember to keep the hands turned outward and placed right above the knee. There are pressure points in this general vicinity that correlate to your heart. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. And out. Shake it out. And move on to number 6. Jolting back for the immune system. Now remember with this one, you want to try not to let your head fall back. And when you stretch down, you want to be able to touch the floor. So in this case, it's perfectly fine if you bend your knees. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And the closing, breathe in. Out. All right, before we continue, just want to give you a little variation of that one, which is a little bit more difficult, but those of you that like the challenge can try it. So it's essentially the same thing. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, when you come up, all you're gonna do is breathe in the whole way through. And then as you go down, you breathe out. That's the way that I originally learned it. There's only 2 breaths. So you start the opening, breathing in, and you breathe out, go down. Then you're going to breathe in all the way, all the way, all the way, and hold it here. Then as you go down, you breathe out. So there's no pausing in between like we normally do. So if you guys feel free to try that at home, maybe you like it better, maybe you don't. But no, it's just another little tool for you guys to use at home. All right. Next stretch. Right foot out. Stretch down. Try to get your fingers to your toes. And if that's easy, try to get your forehead down to your knee. And switch. Stretch down. And shake it out. And let me give you another little pointer for stretching that I don't do it all the time, but if I'm not too warm, like with the Tai Chi, I don't get that warm, so it's harder for me to stretch. So what I'll do is, okay, let's say I want to get my fingers to my toes, I'll count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch my foot 10 times. Next thing is forehead to knee. So I'll count that 10 times and just kind of bob up and down. 1, 2, blah, 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 all the way to 10. Once I get my forehead, then I'll do my nose to 10. Then I'll do my chin to 10. So that way you can kind of warm yourself up as you're stretching to maximize your stretching capabilities. The same thing kind of works for really anything. Just repeated pressure and relaxation, kind of like we do with our stances. We don't just stay here the whole time. You relax, tense, relax, and tense. It's exactly what we're going to do at number 7. And the same applies with your arms. So when you breathe in, your hands are relaxed. When you breathe out, hands are tense. Breathe in, hands are relaxed. Breathe out, the arms are tense. So number 7, staring at the fist with angry eyes. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. The closing, breathe in. And out. Last one, number 8. Bring the energy to the crown for higher learning. Remember with this one to give yourself a little bit of a jolt as you plop down on the ground. that's literally the easiest thing to forget, which is why I try to repeat it every time, because I know I forget it all the time when I do it. So try to remember that. Be better than I am. And breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Last one. Breathe in. And out. Excellent. Now we've already stretched. So let's move on to our seated meditation. So today, what we're going to try to do is go through the 24 as we've done before. But as we have been covering the breathing patterns and the movements, you should be a lot more antiquated with how to coordinate the breathing and the movement. So as you do your meditation, try to visualize it and synchronize your breath with the movement. And I know for some movements, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, particularly like the rooster standing on one leg, because the way you have to adjust your breathing pattern, or even the strum the loop part, but don't go if you're not challenged. So let's try it. Remember, for women, left hand is on top and the thumbs are touching. For men, right hand is on top, thumbs touching. And begin. And open your eyes. Now, I'm sure most of you probably didn't get through all of it. I know I didn't get through all of it, but the show must go on. Slowly stand up. And if you had trouble doing it, that's good. That means you have something to work on. at home. And, well, most of us are at home anyway, but you have something to work on your own time. And challenging ourselves, especially in that way, it's a different type of challenge. It's not a physical strain. It's a little bit of a mind game that helps your brain continue to develop. Okay, how much time do we have? We have like 12 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take it up to where we left off and then continue from there. And I'm going to ask you guys to play back one of the old videos, or if you have the videos that I sent you through the email, to go through the entire form. That way, I don't really want to go through the whole thing and then backtrack to go over it, and then we waste more time. I want to get you the new stuff now. And, I know we have all that. That takes a little bit of time to get to. And hopefully, next class, I can budget time a little bit better. That way we can get through the whole thing. But for today, we're just going to focus on the breath work, and then we'll close. So, breathing in, and breathing out as you step out. Breathe in. And out as the hands go down. Turn, breathe in as the hands come up. Breathe out as you bring them across. Grab the ball and breathe in. Step forward, brush the horse's mane, breathe out. Grab the ball and breathe in. Stepping forward, breathe out. Grab the ball, breathe in. Step forward, breathe out. Shift back, breathe in. White crane spreads wings, breathe out. Breathe in. Brush knee and push, and breathe out going forward. Breathe in, going back. Breathe out, going forward. Breathing in. And breathing out. As you step, breathe in. You lift the other foot, breathe out. Now going up, breathing in. Step back, untwist, breathe out. Rise up, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one, rise up, breathe in. And breathe out. Grab the ball, breathe in. Step forward, breathe out. Roll down, breathe in. Grasp the bird's tail, press, breathe out. Separate and thread down, breathe in. Push forward, breathe out. Turn, grab the ball and inhale. Step forward, push, exhale. Roll down, breathe in. Grasp the bird's tail, breathe out. Separate and breathe in. Push, breathe out. Now the next move. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky. So the way that I can break it down into 4 parts, I usually break it down into 2. So you kind of have to play and see what you like. So you breathe in one way, turn the hands, breathe out the other way. Then as you hook, breathe in. Then as you do the single whip, breathe out. So that way is going to be breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. One more time. So you're going to breathe in, out, in, out. Now, the other way, which is how I typically do it, is in 2 breaths. So you're going to breathe in for the wave hands like clouds and breathe out as you're completing the single whip. So it's going to be, you're breathing in, still breathing in. Then here's a bit of a pause, or you can start the exhalation here and then breathe out. Now, here's where the trouble comes in, because this part, I'm sure you're like, yeah, this is easy. It's just in, out, out. But notice you're breathing in on the left side here and breathing out on the right, breathing in on the right, breathing out on the left. That would cause you to change up what you just did, to breathe in rather on the right, then breathe out on the left, then breathe in on the right, out on the left. And then that throws this off a little bit, because you're going to be here and it's going to be weird to get into this movement. So let's just try it, and then we'll see the different ways that we can piece that together. It's difficult because I just kind of go on autopilot, and I don't really, I know how I'm doing it. It's just hard for me to teach it. So let's run through it from here, the entire thing, from the second wave hands like clouds to the second single whip. And I'll go over my breath, and if there's any issues, then we'll touch up on it. So breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And remember, on the last one, you step out wide, breathe in on this side, step out wide, breathe out, breathe in. And then the issue starts here, because you're going to want to breathe out here and then breathe in here, because of how we did it the first time around. We breathed out here, breathed in, then breathed out. The end forces us to do the opposite. So what we can do at the end is, you already breathed in on one side. Now when you step out, you're going to do a double inhalation. So you're going to breathe out, and then you're going to stay breathing in all the way to here. That way, when you step out, you can exhale effectively. So it's very similar to how I do the first part. The first part that happens here, I do that same double inhalation, and then here, I can either keep inhaling until single whip, or I can start exhaling here all the way through single whip. So I keep on throwing so much at you guys, you're probably confused. So let's just keep it simplified and we'll do this. So this is gonna be our standard, so to speak. So breathing in one way, breathing out the other way, breathing in, and breathing out. So that's the first 4 moves. Now the next is gonna be almost the exact opposite. You're gonna breathe in on the right, and breathe out on the left. In on the right, out on the left. In on the right, out on the left, in on the right. Then as you step out, breathe out on the left, breathe in on the right. You're gonna keep breathing in as you do the hook. And then as you step out, breathe out. And we're gonna leave it there. So let's go over that one more time just to clear up any confusion. So from the push, breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Now on the 4th one, remember, breathe in, step out wide, breathe out, and breathe in. Do the hook, continue breathing in, and then breathe out on single whip. So that's how we're gonna standardize that, just to have it uniform so that it's easier to teach it. And that way we don't have a million people doing a million different things. Okay, now, why is it that the breath here varies? The reason it can vary is because it doesn't necessarily matter. Because naturally, this is like, in application, this would be an arm lock or an arm drag. So you're doing it in both directions. So naturally, you're gonna have to breathe in at some points. So the first time around, you breathe in one way and breathe out the other way, and then it switches. Doesn't necessarily matter. Now and that's in terms of use, because naturally, when we throw a punch or break something, we wanna exhale. But given that this is a Tai Chi form and the training, naturally, you're not gonna be breaking somebody's arm like 6 times. You're gonna do it once, which is gonna be your one exhale, and that's the movement. Not that this is gonna break anybody's arm, but it'll destabilize. So in terms of kind of connecting that with an application to help to understand how the breath works, doesn't really help too much with that move. With the other moves, yes, because from here, this is a takedown, more like one of those, done fancier for the sake of Tai Chi and for the functional training. And by that, this is symbolic of, like when they had a rod and buckets hanging at the end, that's more or less how you would hold it, depending. And one side is usually more supported than the other because one hand is more dominant than the other. Maybe one bucket's heavier than the other, whatever. But that's what this movement is supposed to showcase, I guess. So next class, we'll continue on with the form and we'll work our kicks in between. We'll probably work our kicks after 8 brocades so you can get a good warm up in. So we'll go straight through the 8 brocades and do our kicks. And please, I know that that little section is a little bit confusing, especially because there's a lot of different ways you can do it. So if you have any questions on that, please feel free to email me. I know it's a little iffy. And if you did get it, awesome. Proud of you. And if you have any questions on the rest of the form, feel free to ask. And please remember to go over the whole thing, whether it's by yourself or looking at a video, preferably one of our previous classes or the videos that I emailed you guys. And with that said, let's conclude. Keep together. Right fist, left palm, show courtesy. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy. And I hope to see all of you next week. Bye.